The Ardennes forest shudders on 16 December 1944 as around 1,600 German guns unleash a barrage, shells arcing through dawn's fog to splinter American outposts along the Schnee Eifel. Panzer V Panthers, each mounting a 75 mm gun, grind forward at 4 kilometers per hour, their treads clawing frozen earth in a thrust toward Antwerp, roughly 200 kilometers away. The roar of engines and the crunch of snow signal the start of Hitler's desperate gamble, codenamed Wacht am Rhein, to fracture the Allied front. Field Marshal Walther models Army Group B, under the overall authority of Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt as Commander-in-Chief West, directs about 29 divisions, including 7 Panzer divisions and 2 Panzer brigades at the outset, to seize Antwerp's vital port and choke Allied supply lines. Engineers, under moonlight, preposition scarce fuel and ammunition for a short, hard thrust, with plans calling for a Meuse crossing within 3 to 4 days. Every bridge and gallon is accounted for. The plan's pulse beating on precision. In candlelit command posts near Monschau, staff officers pore over maps, slide rules clicking as they plot bridge captures along the Meuse River, each span critical to the offensive's tempo. The timetable is relentless. Cross the Our River on the first day, secure key towns like Streetvith soon after, and drive on Antwerp to force a negotiated peace. Winter's veil hides trains in Eiffel tunnels, radio silence cloaking intent, but fuel reserves, rationed for the initial advance, loom as the silent arbiter of success. By 17 December 1944, Day 2, the German offensive surges through the Ardennes. As Panzer V Panthers claw forward, their 75 mm guns primed for a thrust toward Antwerp, roughly 200 kilometers distant. Engineers erect prefabricated bridges over the Our River, each steel span built to carry heavy armor. On 18 December, Kampfgruppe Paper attacks Stavelot, fighting for control amid heavy resistance, but fuel consumption rises several liters per kilometer in snow and mud. The constraint is merciless. Fuel trucks lag far behind the vanguard. Rail deliveries, often concealed from air attack, struggle to keep pace as lorries snap axles, their tires spinning in drifts. In darkened command posts near Lochheim, staff officers recalculate routes. Maps marked with lines tracing the Meuse River bends. Artillery batteries fire sparingly, conserving shells as horse-drawn carts replace stalled trucks. The cold line cuts sharp. Fuel trucks deliver half the needed gallons. Engineers clear roads under fire, hauling logs for paths torn by treads. But pace slows, each kilometer grinding against terrain and scarcity. The German plan, engineered for a Meuse crossing within 3 to 4 days, hinges on fragile lifelines, yet logistics betray the blitzkrieg promise. Across the front, American engineers respond with precision, their efforts contrasting German strain. Antwerp's port, cleared on 28 November, unloads thousands of tons daily by late December, feeding convoys to the front. On 23 December, 241 C-47 transports drop supplies into Baston's perimeter, parachutes blooming over snow with crates of mortar rounds. The number that matters is thousands of tons daily, trucked to fuel tanks and guns, their barrels hammering columns. German commanders face overreach. 5th Panzer Army tanks, burning several liters per kilometer, stall near Hufeleis, crews siphoning from wrecks. Engineers wrestle with frozen equipment for the Auerth, bridges strained under the mass of 70-ton Tiger IIs mired in mud. Supply dumps deplete faster than planned. Allied P-47, Thunderbolts strafing lines, igniting convoys. The cold line bites, shells rationed daily. Volksgrenadier units, many fielding St. G 44 seconds in limited numbers, march under strength, bayonets fixed for want of rounds. American logistics pulse with might. Rail crews weld tracks to funnel shells from Antwerp, each train sustaining a division. Engineer battalions span rivers in hours, steel frames locking to bear 30-ton loads. The number that matters is thousands of tons monthly, flowing to depots. Truck drivers deliver gasoline daily. Convoys dodging ambushes to arm the 1st and 9th Armies. Baston defenders, bolstered by drops, fire mortars from ample stocks. The German feet frays against this tide. Many forward units of 6th Panzer Army stand immobile by the 3rd week of December, engines cold. Bridging equipment lies abandoned as sappers retreat under barrages. Horse carts clog roads, slowing advance, The cold line stings, trucks reach the front below need. American engineers build faster than destruction, pontoons and rails a lifeline, outpacing reserves. The plan's ambition, to cross the Meuse in 3 to 4 days and drive on Antwerp, collides with overextended lines. Kampfgruppe paper stalls near L'Église. Panthers stranded under strikes. Engineers cannot conjure fuel from snow. Bridges useless without tanks. The offensive, engineered for a 200-kilometer blitz, slows as American logistics unbroken, tilt the balance, convoys and drops rebuking the Reich's calculus. By 19 December 1944, the Ardennes offensive grinds through snow-choked valleys, German columns straining toward Antwerp, roughly 200 kilometers distant. In a lamplit bunker, Oberst IG, Werner Bodenstein, a staff officer with LIII Corps, traces supply routes on maps, marking choke points along the Meuse. Reports confirm Kampfgruppe Paper's Panthers, stalled near L'Église, burn several liters per kilometer in mud, their fuel gauges near empty. Gunners ration shells, firing only at confirmed targets, while engineers corduroy roads with logs under fire, each plank laid to bear 70-ton Tiger IIs. The cold line bites, shells rationed tightly. Infantry, understrength and shivering, clutch St. G 44 seconds in limited numbers, their magazines sparse, bayonets fixed against American patrols. Bodenstein's log captures the strain. Fuel convoys, far behind the spearhead, deliver short of need, stranding tanks across a 200-kilometer front. Horse carts creak under ammunition crates, clogging paths meant for mechanized speed, as drivers dodge P-47 Thunderbolt strafing runs that torch supply lines. Engineers, hands cracked from frost, wrestle with bridging gear, spans built to carry heavy armor, mired in Auerth River mud. The German plan, engineered for a Meuse crossing within 3 to 4 days, falters as rail deliveries, concealed from air attack, weaken under Allied interdiction. The number that matters is tanks standing idle, their crews scavenging fuel from wrecks to crawl another kilometer. Across the lines, American logisticians churn with efficiency, their convoys snaking from Antwerp's port, cleared on 28 November, to depots feeding the First Army. Truck drivers, navigating blackout conditions, haul thousands of gallons of gasoline daily, dodging craters to supply M4 Shermans that pound German spearheads. On 23 December, 241 C-47 transports drop crates into Bastogne, 81mm mortars, sustaining the 101st Airborne against encirclement. Engineer battalions, under sniper fire, lay steel bridges to bear 30-ton loads, their frames locking in hours to support counterattacks. The cold line stings. Trucks arrive steadily. American 105mm and 155mm artillery, fed by rail from Antwerp, fires at a rate German commanders envy, their barrages a wall of steel. Bodenstein, his breath clouding in the bunker's chill, tallies losses. 5th Panzer Army's advance, halted near Houffalize, bleeds momentum as fuel dwindles. Many forward units of 6th Panzer Army stand immobile by the third week, their engines cold for want of several liters per kilometer. The number that matters is thousands of tons daily, flowing from Antwerp to Allied lines, outpacing German reserves. Volksgrenadier units, under strength, at 7,000 in some divisions, trudge through snow, their St. G 44 seconds, useless without rounds. American M36 tank destroyers, with 90mm guns, outflank stalled columns, cracking armor with precise volleys. The German staff, once confident in a 200-kilometer thrust, face a grim calculus. American supply lines, unbroken, deliver thousands of tons monthly, arming divisions that grind down the offensive. Bodenstein's notes, later seized, reveal envy of American trucks, their tires rolling where German carts stall. The cold line tolls, tanks idle without fuel. Across the front, American engineers rebuild faster than German sappers destroy, their pontoons spanning rivers under fire. The offensive's pulse weakens, not from bullets alone, but from the silent choke of empty depots, as Allied logistics relentless, inexhaustible strangle the Reich's last gamble. By 22 December 1944, the German offensive staggers in the Ardennes, its spearheads faltering short of the Meuse. Antwerp, roughly 200 kilometers distant, Panzer V Panthers, burning several liters per kilometer in snow, halt as fuel tanks run dry. General Hasseukard von Manteuffel, commanding 5th Panzer Army, logs dwindling reserves. His division stopped not by bullets but by scarcity. Engineers falter at bridging sites, bogged under heavy armor as Panthers sink axle deep. The adversary's sharp confession. German commanders curse American convoys outpacing their own. The cold line stings. Trucks fail to arrive. American logistics, pulsing from Antwerp's port, choke the Reich's ambition. Their supply lines a steel web, binding the German thrust. In command post near Street Vith, staff officers tally losses. Numerous forward battalions of 6th Panzer Army stand immobile by the third week, their engines cold. Fuel convoys, far behind the vanguard, falter under P-47. Thunderbolt strikes, pyres lighting the snow as gasoline ignites. Artillery batteries, rationed to sparse shells, fire only at critical targets, while Volksgrenadier units, under strength at 7,000 in some divisions, clutch St. G-44s with few rounds. The German plan, engineered for a Meuse crossing within 3 to 4 days, phrase as rail deliveries, concealed from air attack, dwindle under Allied interdiction. The number that matters is tanks standing idle, their crews scavenging wrecks to limp another kilometer toward the 200-kilometer goal of Antwerp. American engineers, under General Dwight Eisenhower's orders, fortify Bastogne, their convoys, snaking from Antwerp, cleared on 28 November, to feed the front. On 23 December, 241 C-47 transports drop crates into the encircled town, 81mm mortars and rations sustaining the 101st Airborne. Truck drivers haul thousands of gallons of gasoline daily, navigating craters to fuel M4 Shermans and M36 tank destroyers, their 90mm guns cracking German armor. Engineer battalions lay steel bridges to bear medium armor, their frames locking under torchlight to support counterattacks. The cold line bites. Thousands of tons delivered daily. Rail crews, under sniper fire, weld tracks to funnel 105mm and 155mm shells from Antwerp, each barrage a hammer against German lines. The German offensive's pulse weakens as 5th Panzer Army stalls near Celles, its Panthers stranded without several liters per kilometer to move. Kampfgruppe Pieper, trapped near La Glaise, abandons vehicles under P-47 strafing runs, their wrecks smoldering in snow. Engineers cannot salvage bridging gear at Ardennes, spans useless without tanks to cross. Horse carts, creaking under sparse ammunition, clog roads meant for speed, as American M36 tank destroyers outflank columns, their 90mm rounds piercing armor. The number that matters is thousands of tons daily, flowing from Antwerp to depots that never empty, arming Allied divisions that grind down the German thrust. Across the front, American logistics surge with industrial might. By late December, Antwerp's port unloads thousands of tons daily, feeding convoys that snake 150 kilometers to the front. Truck drivers, dodging ambushes, deliver gasoline to sustain M4 Shermans, their 75mm guns firing relentlessly. Engineer battalions, under fire, span rivers in hours, their pontoons enabling counterthrusts that pinch German salients. Rail lines, rebuilt under strafing, funnel shells to artillery batteries, their 105mm and 155mm barrages outpacing German salvos. The cold line tolls. Steady convoys outrun scarcity. Bastogne's defenders, bolstered by airdrops, fire mortars from ample stocks. They resolve a wall against encirclement. German commanders, in frost-rimed tents, face the arithmetic of defeat. American supply lines, unbroken, deliver thousands of tons daily, dwarfing German reserves. Manteuffel's logs note fuel shortages compounding combat attrition, his division's bleeding momentum. Engineers, tasked with miracles, cannot conjure gasoline from snow, their bridges abandoned as American M36 tank destroyers exploit gaps. Volksgrenadier units, under strength and low on St. G-44 rounds, retreat under Allied barrages, their bayonets useless against tanks. The German plan, once a 200-kilometer blitz to Antwerp, collapses as American logistics' relentless, inexhaustible tilt the balance. Their convoys a silent rebuke to the Reich's faltering calculus. The inflection point hardens. American depots, untouched by Luftwaffe raids, feed counterattacks that shred German lines. By 24 December, Allied divisions, fueled by thousands of gallons daily, push back 5th Panzer Army, reclaiming ground near Celles. P-47. Thunderbolts strafe supply lines, igniting dumps that light the night, while American engineers rebuild faster than German sappers destroy. The myth of blitzkrieg, engineered for speed, fractures short of the Meuse, where fuel scarcity halts more tanks than enemy fire. German staff, once confident in their thrust, admit the truth in seized reports. American logistics, not valor alone, break the offensive, their trucks and rails a lifeline that strangles the Reich's last gamble. By 24 December 1944, the German offensive crumbles in the Ardennes, its spearheads broken far from Antwerp, still 200 kilometers distant. Panzer V Panthers, burning several liters per kilometer in snow, stand abandoned near Celles, their crews fleeing under P-47 Thunderbolt strikes. General Hasso-Eckhard von Manteuffel, commanding 5th Panzer Army, logs fuel shortages compounding combat losses, his divisions reduced to static hulks. Engineers abandon bridging sites along the Auertha, their spans useless as heavy armor bogs in mud. The cold line bites, tanks idle without fuel. American logistics, surging from Antwerp's port, overwhelm the Reich's faltering calculus, their convoys a relentless tide that drowns the German thrust. In command posts near Street Vith, staff officers face grim tallies. Numerous battalions of 6th Panzer Army remain immobile by the third week, their engines silent. Fuel convoys, far behind the vanguard, burn under Allied air attacks, their pyres lighting the frozen night. Artillery batteries, down to sparse shells, fall silent, while Volksgrenadier units, under strength at 7,000 in some divisions, wield St. G-44s with dwindling rounds. The German plan, engineered for a Meuse crossing within 3 to 4 days, collapses as rail deliveries, hidden from air attack, fail to meet demand. The number that matters is tanks standing idle, their 75mm guns useless, without several liters per kilometer, to move toward Antwerp's 200-kilometer horizon. American engineers, under General Dwight Eisenhower's command, fortify the front, their convoys streaming from Antwerp, cleared on 28 November. On 23 December, 241 C-47 transports drop crates into Bastogne, 81mm mortars and rations sustaining the 101st Airborne. Truck drivers haul thousands of gallons of gasoline daily, navigating icy roads to fuel M4 Shermans and M36 tank destroyers, their 90mm guns shattering German armor. Engineer battalions lay steel bridges to bear medium armor, their frames locking under torchlight to enable counter-thrusts. The cold line stings, thousands of tons delivered daily. Rail crews, under sniper fire, weld tracks to funnel 105mm and 155mm shells, their barrages hammering German lines into retreat. The German offensive's pulse fades as 5th Panzer Army's remnants, stranded near Celles, abandon Panthers under relentless P-47 strafing, their wrecks smoldering in snowdrifts. Kampfgruppe Paper, trapped near L'Église, leaves vehicles behind, their crews retreating on foot as American M36 tank destroyers outflank them, 90mm rounds piercing hulls. Engineers, frostbitten and overtasked, cannot salvage bridging gear, their efforts buried under mud and Allied fire. Horse carts, creaking under sparse ammunition, clog roads meant for mechanized speed, as American artillery, fed by thousands of tons daily, pounds German positions. The number that matters is Antwerp's endless flow, arming Allied divisions that crush the German salient. Across the front, American logistics roar with industrial might. By late December, Antwerp's port unloads thousands of tons daily, feeding convoys that snake 150 kilometers to the front. Truck drivers, dodging ambushes, deliver gasoline to sustain M4 Shermans, their 75mm guns firing without pause. Engineer battalions span rivers in hours, their pontoons enabling counterattacks that pinch German lines. Rail lines, rebuilt under strafing, funnel 105mm and 155mm shells to artillery batteries, their barrages outpacing German salvos. The cold line tolls. Steady convoys outrun scarcity. Bastogne's defenders, bolstered by airdrops, fire 81mm mortars from ample stocks, their resistance a steel wall against encirclement. German commanders, in frost-rimed tents, confront defeat's arithmetic. American supply lines, unbroken, deliver thousands of tons daily, dwarfing German reserves. Manteuffel's logs note fuel shortages crippling his divisions. Their momentum bled dry. Engineers, tasked with impossible feats, cannot conjure fuel from snow. Their bridges abandoned as American M-36 tank destroyers exploit gaps. Their 90 millimeter guns relentless. Volksgrenadier units, under strength and low on St. G-44 rounds, retreat under Allied barrages, their bayonets useless against tanks. The German plan, once a 200-kilometer blitz to Antwerp, dissolves as American logistics' relentless, inexhaustible drive the collapse. Their convoys a silent rebuke to the Reich's fading ambition. The German salient, once a bulging threat, shrinks under Allied counterthrusts. By 25 December, General George Patton's Third Army surges from the south, its M4 Shermans, fueled by thousands of gallons daily, reclaiming ground near Bastogne. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery's forces, pressing from the north, tighten the noose, their artillery fed by Antwerp's endless flow. P-47. Thunderbolts strafe German supply lines, igniting dumps that blaze through the night, while American engineers rebuild faster than German sappers destroy. The myth of blitzkrieg, engineered for a swift Meuse crossing, shatters short of the river, where fuel scarcity halts more tanks than enemy fire. German staff, once confident in their thrust, admit in seized reports. American logistics, not valor alone, break the offensive, their trucks and rails strangling the Reich's last gamble. The collapse accelerates as Allied divisions, armed by thousands of tons daily, grind down German remnants. By late December, 5th Panzer Army's lines fracture, its Panthers and Panzer IVs abandoned in snow, their crews fleeing under M-36 tank destroyer fire. Engineers, their bridging gear useless, retreat as American pontoons span rivers, enabling Patton's advance. The German offensive, planned for a 200-kilometer dash to Antwerp, lies in ruins, its supply lines severed by Allied air and artillery. Volksgrenadier units, their St. G-44s empty, scatter under 105-millimeter barrages, their retreat a final admission of defeat. American logistics, flowing from Antwerp's port, seal the Reich's fate, their relentless tide drowning the last embers of Hitler's gamble. By 25 January 1945, the Ardennes salient collapses, its wreckage strewn far from Antwerp, 200 kilometers distant. General George Patton's Third Army surges from the south, its M4 Shermans, fueled by thousands of gallons daily, smashing German lines. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery's forces pinch from the north, their 105-millimeter barrages relentless. 84,000 German prisoners trudge through snow, 12,000 dead left behind, their Panthers and Panzer IVs abandoned in drifts. The cold line tolls, tanks idle without fuel. American logistics, flowing from Antwerp's port, bury the Reich's final thrust, their convoys sealing the offensive's tomb. In ruined command posts, German staff face the wreckage. 5th Panzer Army's remnants, bled dry near Celles, leave hundreds of tanks as scrap. 6th Panzer Army's battalions, immobile by the third week, lie shattered under P-47. Thunderbolt strikes, their supply lines burned. Volksgrenadier units, under strength at 7,000, scatter with empty St. G-44s, their bayonets useless against M-36 tank destroyers' 90-millimeter guns. Engineers, their bridging gear abandoned, retreat as American pontoons span rivers, enabling Allied advances. The German plan, engineered for a Meuse crossing within 3 to 4 days, lies in ruins, its fuel reserves exhausted far short of the 200-kilometer goal. American logistics, relentless, drive the collapse. Antwerp's port, cleared on 28 November, unloads thousands of tons daily, feeding convoys that snake 150 kilometers to the front. Truck drivers, dodging sniper fire, deliver gasoline to sustain M4 Shermans, their 75-millimeter guns pounding German remnants. Engineer battalions lay steel bridges to bear medium armor, their frames locking under torchlight to support Patton's thrust. Rail crews weld tracks, funneling 105-millimeter and 155-millimeter shells to artillery batteries. Their barrage is a steel curtain. The number that matters is thousands of tons daily, arming divisions that crush the salient. The German offensive's failure bleeds the Reich dry. The Luftwaffe, spent in futile Ardennes sorties, cannot shield Berlin from Soviet hammers. 5th and 6th Panzer armies, stripped of armor, leave the West Wall defenseless, their tanks lost to fuel scarcity more than combat. Seized reports reveal German staff admitting defeat. American logistics, not valor, broke their thrust. Convoys outpacing horse carts. By March, Antwerp's flow surges to thousands of tons daily, fueling the Rhine crossing, while Soviet forces storm the Vistula-Oder line, Berlin's gates crumbling. The cold line bites. Thousands of tons delivered daily. The Reich's gamble, meant to split the Allies, hastens its own end. Supply lines the arbiter of total war. Allied divisions, fed by Antwerp's endless stream, roll over German remnants. Patton's Third Army, its M36 tank destroyers firing 90mm rounds, reclaims Bastogne, linking with the 101st Airborne. Montgomery's forces, their artillery unrelenting, drive south, pinching the salient shut. American engineers, rebuilding faster than German sappers destroy, span rivers with pontoons, enabling tanks to cross. The number that matters is 200 kilometers. The distance to Antwerp, the Germans never reached. Their blitzkrieg drowned by American supply lines. German prisoners, their faces hollow, confessed to interrogators. Trucks, not tanks, won the battle, their steady flow a noose around the Reich. The Ardennes offensive, Hitler's last throw, seals the Reich's fate. Its failure, driven by fuel shortages and American logistics, leaves the West open to Allied advance. By March, Patton's tanks cross the Rhine, their fuel tanks full, while Soviet forces, unopposed by diverted German reserves, near Berlin. The German staff, once dreaming of a 200-kilometer thrust, faced the truth in captured logs. American depots, untouched, outlasted their own. The cold line stings. Steady convoys outrun scarcity. The Reich, bled of men and machines, collapses under the weight of its miscalculation. American supply lines the silent executioner of its final gamble. By spring 1945, the Ardennes offensive lies in ashes, its failure sealing the Reich's doom, far from Antwerp, 200 kilometers unreachable. 84,000 German prisoners shuffle into captivity. 12,000 dead buried in snow, their Panthers rusting in drifts. American logistics, flowing from Antwerp's port, delivered thousands of tons daily, crushing the German thrust with relentless supply. The cold line tolls, tanks idle without fuel. The Reich's last gamble, engineered for a Meuse crossing, collapses under the weight of American convoys. Their trucks, the true victors of the frozen front. Patton's Third Army storms the Rhine by March, fueled by Antwerp's endless stream, while Soviet forces, unhindered by diverted German reserves, hammer Berlin's gates. The number that matters is 200 kilometers, the distance to Antwerp. The Germans never crossed, their blitzkrieg broken by supply lines. German staff, in seized reports, admit the truth. American depots, untouched, outlasted their own. Trucks and rails strangling their ambition. The Ardennes, meant to split the Allies, instead buries the Reich, its failure hastening the end of total war.